Hello, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. Hope you're all doing well. Lots to discuss about tonight, but we're going to start off with Jose Mourinho. And I think that actually he needs a bloody miracle to resolve what's going to go on at Manchester United right now, because it is a mess. It is an absolute mess. There is no money being spent and he's got 3 weeks to the start of this season. And really I just want to start off on that because I think there's such a division amongst the Manchester United fans at the moment in relation to whether you back Jose or you don't back Jose. But I think the situation that we have around the transfer window is not exclusively to do with our manager, and he needs a miracle in these next 3 weeks. I'm not saying that miracle cannot happen, but the way things are going at the moment, it's looking really, really ominous for Jose Mourinho. Let me lay this down on the line. If we don't win the league next season, I think he's going to get the sack. He's going to get the sack if the next 3 weeks aren't solved properly. Otherwise, something miraculous needs to happen. We know at the end of last season we finished badly, we didn't play good football, and the fans were turning. How is he supposed to change all of that when the squad is effectively the same? We've signed a third-choice goalkeeper, we've signed a kid who's not going to be ready, and we've signed a Brazilian backup midfielder for the Brazilian national team. We are a long, long way off sorting out our problems, and we seem to be, not as fans, but as a club, we seem to be blindly swimming in an ocean full of great white sharks with Liverpool fins, Chelsea fins, Manchester City fins, and they're going to absolutely devour us. I mean, Liverpool, we laugh at Karius, we laugh at how they boo their own goalkeeper, but the reality is they're going to sign Alisson from Roma, who's a good goalkeeper. They've bought a whole new midfield. They've got Shaqiri as a backup. They're going to get Fekir. They've already got Salah, Mane and Firmino. They've got a very good team and they've massively improved this summer. Chelsea are going to massively improve this summer. What are we doing? And I get it, because actually the whole point about football is that there are different opinions. So I'm not going to smash somebody or deride somebody who says there's still 3 weeks to go, Mark. Stop being so negative. All you're doing is spreading negativity. I don't actually think this is negativity. I think it's just a bloody opinion that I have and a lot of fans have at the moment is whether we go and sign players now in the next 3 weeks or not, it's been a shambolic summer where we've not done enough. And also, more importantly, Jose Mourinho's going to get the sack. He must know it. As of now, he's getting the sack next year. I can't see how he turns this around. And that's not me saying Mourinho out. Far from it. What I'm saying is, what is he supposed to do with one arm tied behind his back? He is going to lose his job next year. I've heard people saying he might be gone by Christmas, but how is he going to take the same set of players last year and solve the problems of last year and close the gap in front of him with Man City way ahead, but Spurs, Liverpool definitely and Chelsea possibly are going to improve? How is he going to improve us with the same tools? It's like a carpenter or a bricklayer going out with rubbish tools and saying, right, I know that building you built was rubbish. Now go and build another one with the same tools. And he's going, I can't. You need to give me some proper material and tools to build it properly. No, you've got to go and do it with the same stuff. And that's the situation we're in. So some of the things I'm hearing about this at the moment is that Ed Woodward is, and I know a lot of people have mentioned this, a lot of people have emailed me about this, but I've been saying it for quite a while anyway. It's quite clear to me that Manchester United are, and I'm going to discuss this on Transfer Daily tomorrow in more depth, but it's quite clear that Manchester United have put all their eggs in one basket. If we are going for a marquee signing, that it's Gareth Bale, that's the signing we're going for, which is massively risky because for two reasons. One, he may not leave Real Madrid. He doesn't want to leave Real Madrid because he wants to stay in Spain. He loves it like most of us would do. Best team in the world, winning Champions League. If he can take that mantle of Ronaldo, of course he's going to stay. Why would he come to Manchester United, which is going to be a massive, massive challenge? So there's that side of things where getting him out of Real Madrid will only be if Real Madrid don't want him anymore. And if they don't want him anymore, you've got to ask why they don't want him anymore. Are they concerned about injuries? I don't know. And then second of all, why are we spending so much time on a player that actually... Do we need Gareth Bale? I mean, do we actually need Gareth Bale? I know we get locked into this, but do we need Gareth Bale? I ask you lot, do we need him? Because, I mean, Mac Van Oo says Bale's not going to leave Real Madrid. Manu Stu, Gareth Bale will not win the league there. And you're right, Mark, Jose needs backup from the board, says Alexander. I think this is 100% what's needed. And I actually think whether you're Mourinho in or out, you can keep that till the first game of the season and the first few games of the season. And I think we'll win the first few. The time to judge Jose Mourinho is October, November time. But right now, I think I think fans should unite behind Mourinho against what the club is delivering to him, which is, for me, it's just not good enough. It's nowhere near good enough. But do we need Gareth Bale? I mean, of course, if we sign Gareth Bale, we all start clapping. They sell a few more shirts with Bale on the back. The stock price goes up. Apparently, it's dead low at the moment. Fantastic. But that is a problem that Real Madrid themselves solved with Zidane. This Galactico, let's sign a Galactico, let's make our fans happy. And then they weren't winning leagues and Champions Leagues. And then Zidane built a team. I mean, granted, he had some good players there like Ronaldo and Bale, but he built a midfield that's not really got a Galactico in it. Kroos, Modric and Casemiro, they're all very good players, but there's no Pogba in there. It's just a very, very good midfield, and their defence is a very good defence. And they built a team at Real Madrid, and they've won 3 Champions Leagues for it. So why do we need Bale? Actually, I think if Bale's going to cost us north of £120 million, which he probably will, I would actually be brave and say, and I don't know how many of you would agree with me this, spend that £120 million on Alexandro and Skriniar from Inter, or Alderweireld if you want that centre-back. But a left-back and a centre-back is going to do far more for Manchester United than Gareth Bale is, because actually, all right, Gareth Bale can play off the right and you've got Sanchez and Lukaku, but you've still got Sanchez and Lukaku. You can play Lingard on the right. You can move Sanchez to the right. You can play Martial on the left. You can play Mata on the right. We've got Rashford as well. You've got Chong coming through. I mean, Gareth Bale's a good player. I'm not going to argue with it. He's still one of the top 5 in the world when he's on his game. But do we, Manchester United, trying to close a gap on Man City and be a Premier League winning team, do we need Gareth Bale? Gareth Bale's not going to stop us being a poor left-back team. Gareth Bale's not going to stop us having no centre-backs who can play together. Gareth Bale's not going to stop the midfield being cut through like a hot knife through butter. So Gareth Bale, to me, if it's true that Edward was spending all his summer on that, I mean, I would challenge and say, is Jose Mourinho really that stupid? Because he's not. He's a very intelligent guy. And if we're sat here thinking but getting Bale's very, very difficult, Mourinho must be absolutely pulling his hair out. Because to me, if I had a choice now, and I'll ask everyone in the live comments about this, but we've had a super chat here. It's from Sheras Kamath Fitness, who says, it's not Jose's fault anymore. We finished second because of Jose. We might end up second again, but I think it's time we seriously push for the title. One thing Jose should do is give more chances to Martial. Well, that's going to be very interesting. I think that Jose Mourinho, if he delivers second next season with the football he's played last year, he's gone. He's finished. But the only way you can improve on that is with better players. And what I wanted to say to you lot is, what if you only had a choice between these 2 players? Forget the value, forget the fact that obviously it's a big status signing. If you had the choice between, we're only making one more signing, Gareth Bale or Alexandro, which one would you go for? So we're only making one. Forget with your both nonsense, we're only making one. Gareth Bale or Alexandro, and that's all we're going to do between now and the end of the season, start of the season. Which one would you go for? Let me know in the live comments, because for me, it is obvious. It is obvious who we go for, because also, if we sign Gareth Bale, Martial's probably leaving. Martial might be leaving anyway, but if we sign Bale, Martial's gone. And for me, it's Alexandro every day of the week. Vince Chapman says Sandro. See, there's always one. There's always one. Jamie Voss, Sandro and Willian. I said one. You greedy. Sandro says Logan Pole. Sandro says Gabriel Medina. Sandro. I mean, so many Sandros. To be fair, Mini Diver says Bale. Nothing wrong with that. I thought we'd get a few more Bales, to be honest. But it's mainly Sandro. Bale says Mr. Jund for work. Mark Antigua says Bale as well. Ash says Sale. Don't know who he is. Mainly Sandro, but there are a few Bales in there, which is what I would expect, especially on a fan opinion channel. There's nothing wrong if you've gone with Bale. I can see why you have. But from my point of view, it would definitely be Alexandro, because we haven't got a left-back. We haven't got a left-back at Manchester United, and we need one. Now, there's still positive hopes around Alexandro. Everything I've heard, everything I listen to, Alexandro is still being mentioned by a lot of people. And I myself have said, I'm not steering away from Alexandro to Manchester United just because PSG are in for him. I still think we can get Alexandro, and I still believe we will do 2 signings before the end of this, before the start of the season. But as of right now, we do need a bloody miracle, because Manchester United, if you follow Manchester United, which most of you will, so you'll know about this, what I'm about to say, we've basically got 3.5 weeks before this transfer window closes. You think about Paul Pogba, Mkhitaryan, Zlatan, Fred, Dalot, and anybody, and Sanchez. Every one of those signings, from the moment we sort of knew we were going to do it, from the moment it became a credible sort of link, it was probably 2 to 3 weeks before it was official. So Manchester United, even if we're being generous, take at least 2 weeks from when that rumour first starts to when they're holding up a shirt. We've only got 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. So how many signings can we do in 3.5 weeks? I would say that even if Gareth Bale at the weekend said, oh, he might be coming to Manchester United, it's credible, it would still probably be 2 weeks before he's holding up the shirt, and that's probably the only deal we're going to do. So we're fast running out of time with this. We are fast running out of time, and that's what concerns me. But we have to make some signings. We have to make some signings, and I believe that we will do. Please do drop a like on the video, because I want to just delve into another little bit there. And thanks everybody who mentioned about the Sandro and Bale thing. It's good to see that a lot of people sort of agree with where I'm coming from, and you don't have to, but what I'm saying is I just think a left-back is so important for Manchester United. Ash says Gaya and Bale, who's the Valencia left-back. Perisic isn't going anywhere, says Unknown Man. I agree with you. Bale was supposed to have made his mind up yesterday, says Carl Watkins. Well, yesterday was his first day back in training. Who knows whether he's made his mind up or not. As I said this morning, it wouldn't surprise me if Bale thinks he's staying at Real Madrid. The English Premier League transfer window closes. Theirs stays open for 3 weeks. They sign Neymar and Hazard, and Bale realised he should have left. But there isn't any news on Savic at the moment, Vishnu, no. But no, the next thing I want to talk about, and this was in the this was Duncan Castles, who's been quite credible with Manchester United this summer, and he basically said that Manchester United do want Alexandro. They're very interested in Alexandro. But the deal is basically the scope for that deal to happen is severely hindered by Luke Shaw's reluctance to leave Manchester United this summer. So they almost need to move Luke Shaw out to bring Sandro in, and Luke Shaw, according to Duncan Castles and some other sources, will not leave Manchester United. So again, I'm not that sympathetic with Jose on this one, to be honest, because remember a couple of times last season, and certainly I think it was around. Was it March time when it came out and there was a rumour that Luke Shaw's agent was really... in fact, I don't think it was a rumour. I think his agent did come out and say something, but it was basically that Luke Shaw was absolutely disgusted with some of the comments that Jose Mourinho had made about Luke Shaw, and I think it was to do with lack of effort and things like that. And it's not the first time it's happened with Shaw and Mourinho. I don't think Mourinho trusts Shaw. I think Shaw wants to be a Manchester United player and would like to have Mourinho's trust back, but I don't think Mourinho's ever going to trust Shaw for whatever reason. And I think if this is true, it's come back, and I mean, again, it's the fans who suffer, but it's going to bite Mourinho on the backside, because I would say that, you know, if I'm totally blunt, I would be like this as well. If I had a choice of selling Luke Shaw and getting Alexandro, I would probably do it, knowing what we know about the Shaw and Mourinho relationship. If it was Luke Shaw, no issue with Mourinho, it's a very different story. He's English, he's a left-back, he's a good left-back. But I pretty much know for a fact that Jose Mourinho will never play Luke Shaw ahead of Ashley Young. Ashley Young will always be Ashley Young's deputy, unless Ashley Young is injured. So Luke Shaw staying at the club is bad from my point of view, because that means Ashley Young's our left-back. But Mourinho's only got himself to blame. If Luke Shaw decides, with 1 year left on his contract, I'm staying and then I'm going for free. You either play me or I go for free next summer. I'm not going anywhere else. You've treated me badly. I don't need to go. I don't need to go to help you sign somebody else. I'm not going to go. I'm going to train really hard. I'm going to try and force my way into the team. And if you don't play him, I'm going for free next summer. That is effectively the problem Manchester United might have with Luke Shaw. And that's a £30 million loss. And when you're run by a club that is focused on money so much, they could well be saying to Jose Mourinho, you may want Alexandro for 40 or 50 million quid, but there's no way you're having him when there's Luke Shaw there, who is a left back, who is a £30 million asset, and if we sign Sandro, he's going to sit in reserves and he's going to go for free next summer, and we lose all the wages we're paying him and 30 million. And that's the situation that Manchester United may well have got themselves in with Luke Shaw. So if you want Sandro, which is, and it's a complicated one for me. I don't get your getting. I mean, there's a good point here. Joey Johnson's getting the news that Jose's happy with Shaw in training, tops the training. Yeah, well, there's two ways you can read that. There's one way that Mourinho realises he's going to have to keep Luke Shaw happy. There's another way that he's feeding that into the press to make other clubs think, oh, Luke Shaw's a good player to buy. But I think we all know that Luke Shaw is not Manchester United's first choice left back next season, and if Luke Shaw stays, it's going to be Ashley Young. And if Ashley Young's the first choice left back, I can't see us doing anything next season. Mainly because he's right footed. We need a left footed left back. But so as reluctant as it is, because I think under the right manager, Luke Shaw's a really good left back, I really do hope that there is an offer coming in for Luke Shaw and he leaves Manchester United so we can sign Alexandro, because I think that is best for Manchester United, because I don't believe Jose Mourinho is ever going to play Luke Shaw as our left back. I just don't see it ever happening. I think that relationship has been eroded. And also, listen to what the youth player Indy Boonen said when he left. He said, look, Mourinho doesn't talk to you in training. He only talks to a select few favourite players. And Mourinho's very stubborn. And I think when you cross Mourinho, that's it. And I haven't got a problem with a personality like that. Some of us are like that. So I just don't see that relationship with Luke Shaw ever being repaired. I don't. I really don't. But it's interestingly, because I've been out tonight. That's why we were late. That's why I've got the nice shirt on. I've been out because it's last week of schools. So there's like school functions that I have to go to and stuff like that. So I've been out. So I've come in and I haven't really had time to do a lot of research. In fact, my phone's going at the moment, so we might have something here. What's that? What? We've signed such and such. No, I'm only joking. But I have had a few messages, and one of them was that... I already know about that. That the Paul Pogba and Mourinho relationship. What about that, Mark? They said, can't you discuss that? Because there's a lot of rumours that one... and there's a lot of people asking about that. How does Mourinho solve the Pogba and the Mourinho issue? Because one of the things that really impressed me about Pogba, and it wasn't for the final, it was the Uruguay game apparently, there's a video of him in the dressing room getting the players round and really getting them up for the game. And that's evident if you watch the World Cup with France. I mean, World Cup form, to be honest with you, I'm not bothered. The World Cup's over now. I'm happy Paul Pogba won the World Cup, but I don't think because Jesse Lingard had a good game in the World Cup or Pogba played well in the World Cup, that's not transferable into the Premier League. They've got to go and do it again in the Premier League. And they can do it, and I believe they can, but it doesn't mean anything. World Cup form doesn't mean anything. But what does mean something is the way you portray yourself on a pitch. And I saw Paul Pogba become a leader to those players on that French team. If you watch the game, even people like Kante, Griezmann, Mbappe, they're all looking, Varane, they're all looking to Paul Pogba. And I thought, Varane's a Champions League winner. Kante's won the Premier League twice. Griezmann's one of the best players in the world. Mbappe's a fantastic youth player. But they're looking to Pogba on the pitch. He is the leader on the pitch. And I thought, at Manchester United, he's not the leader on the pitch. And I could not imagine Paul Pogba being in that dressing room on a Manchester United at Old Trafford, getting the players up. I can't imagine him being allowed to do that, because I don't think we have a dressing room like that. All the leaks, everything you hear from the players about Jose Mourinho, he's a bit of a dictator. He has his favourites, but he's a bit of a dictator. If he drops you, he doesn't tell you why he's dropped you. That's what Pogba said. So I think we've got this sort of corridor of silence between the management and the players, and that needs to change, because it changed at Manchester United when we had Sir Alex Ferguson. You still had his leaders, your Steve Bruces, your Roy Keanes, your Brian Robsons, your Nevilles, your people like that who were vocal in the dressing room. And I think we need to get that. We need to get that. If we're going to get the best out of Paul Pogba, he needs to be given the freedom to be expressive and a leader in the dressing room. And it can't all just be sit down submissive to hail Jose. You need leaders on the pitch, and he needs to take a step back and allow that to happen, because we can all talk about the United way, we can all talk about the way we play football and how we should play football, but actually one of the simplistic things that has always been part of Manchester United is you can have your big character managers, you can have your Sir Alex Fergusons, you can have your Sir Matt Busbys, but you will also have your leaders on the pitch as well. And that is really important in the dressing room, but also on the pitch, because Jose Mourinho can't be on the pitch. He can be on the sideline, he can pull people over and he can tell them off, but you need the leaders on the pitch. And that's what I want to see from Pogba next season. He's shown that potential in a French shirt, and we want to see that next season in a Manchester United shirt. But that means that trust needs to come back together between Mourinho and Pogba. It can't just be... It feels like with Pogba and Mourinho at the moment, it's a job. There's not that much respect there, but it's a job. Well, there is respect, but it's a job. There's not a relationship. They need to build a relationship. If this is going to work, there needs to be a relationship. We know Manchester United aren't going to sell Pogba, but if there's no relationship with your manager, then we're not going to get the real Pogba, and that is very, very, very important. We play negative football at the moment, says Ahmed. Well, we've got a new season. Let's see what happens with that. Jose will not change. You're deluded, says I Love Music. Well, there's a thin line between delusion and hope. Football has changed since Sir Alex, says Michael Jones. The football on the pitch has certainly changed. I don't agree with you that the football has changed, because even look at Klopp. I mean, he's nowhere near Sir Alex Ferguson. He hasn't got that ability to win things like that Sir Alex Ferguson's got. But he inspires.
He's got the fans on side. I mean, Klopp actually, until he got Liverpool to the Champions League, up until around sort of Christmas time, his record was no better than Brendan Rodgers, but he's got those fans in the palm of his hand. I mean, obviously he has now because he's had a fantastic transfer window and he got them to the Champions League final. But there was times when actually you looked at Klopp's record and it wasn't that good. But if you spoke to the vast majority of Liverpool fans, they were backing him to the hilts. Whereas Jose Mourinho's got us to second. He hasn't got the fans in the palm of his hand at all. So Sir Alex Ferguson's time of football has not changed at all. We've just our board have chosen different managers. Passive Moyes, passive arrogant Van Gaal, and pragmatic Island Jose. He's an island, isn't he? He's not bothered what people think about him. Whereas if Jurgen Klopp was in charge of Manchester United, you would get that person turning round to the crowd, getting us up. That person who's passionate, wears his heart on his sleeve, who's probably in the dressing room really giving it them. But I bet as well in that dressing room, he's promoting words from people within the team because it works. And Pep Guardiola, again, he manages differently, but he's got relationships with all of his players. You can tell that. So, I don't agree that football has changed at all. But I do backtrack to what I was saying before. Remember, drop a like on the video. Let's see if we can get over 500 while we're live. I do go back to what I said at the start. I don't know. I want to get people's comments on this. Miracle is required at the moment. And when I say miracle, I don't say that lightly. Mourinho needs a miracle. And I do feel sorry for him because I cannot believe that he went into this transfer window 20 points humiliated behind Man City, with hanging on for dear life, really, because there's a lot of fans turning against him, a lot of criticism. He's used to it from the press, but he's getting it from the fans as well. He goes into this summer and he must think, I need to get away. I need to get my head together. There's my list, Ed. Let's come back. Let's go on the US tour and let's sort this out. He's basically going on the US tour with a load of kids. He's got no signings coming in apart from Fred, who is one signing, who actually I don't think is the sort of Mourinho signing anyway. I don't think Fred's a Mourinho signing. I really don't. Mourinho doesn't really go for that sort of player at all. So I think he's trying to adapt there, which is a positive. But he's got no other players. I can guarantee you there is no way a man of Jose Mourinho's integrity and intelligence expected 3 weeks from the start of the season to have one signing in Fred. I mean, Delort, good signing. Phil and Grant, the goalkeeper, he's fine, but he's never going to play. Delort's not expected to play either. He's got no left back. He's got no centre back. He maybe wanted another midfielder. It's a shambles. It's an absolute shambles. And you can start to see, I mean, I think it's unforgivable that we kept Fellaini, but you know what? It's probably a bloody good job we did keep Fellaini, because if he had left, would we even have a replacement in for Fellaini by now? No. And that'd be another transfer we've got to get done. So it's an interesting thing. Virgil says, what if the board knows they'll soon sack Jose and they're only signing players for the future and working to keep Martial as well? Just a thought. It's an interesting thought, but that doesn't help us as fans, does it? If they don't want Mourinho, get rid of Mourinho. Surely that's the way that you need to go. You can't be doing, we're not going to back him in the transfer market, because he is... I just feel if Mourinho doesn't get 2 signings between now and the start of the season, he is finished at Manchester United, unless he pulls a miracle out with the players we've already got, which, never say never. I didn't think France could win the World Cup with Deschamps. They've definitely got the players, but the way he plays football, I thought they'll get found out. Fortunately, there was no team better than France in that tournament, because I actually think, and it's ridiculous to say this about the World Cup winners, I think that France could be a really good team. I do. I don't think they're a very good team. I think they were there to be got at. I think Croatia did well against them in the first half. They didn't have a number 9. They got a little bit unlucky with the penalty, lost momentum, and France picked them off. I thought Belgium should have beaten them. I really do. I think Belgium bottled it in the second half. But what France did have, organisation, and they did have good players. So it's not impossible that Mourinho, if and this would be the same as the World Cup, if Man City and Liverpool and Spurs had bad seasons, Manchester United might be able to grind it out the Mourinho way. The chances of that happening are quite thin. So if that's not going to happen, and he's going to have to win the league against a proper Man City team and an improved Liverpool team and an improved Spurs team, he's going to have to improve his team massively. We do have the players. Paul Pogba, Lukaku, Alexis Sanchez, Rashford, Martial, Lingard, Fred's come in now. You've got Bailly, you've got Lindelof, you've got De Gea. We have got very good players. That team can do a lot better than it was doing last season, but it would still be a miracle for that manager to turn it round with the same set of players. He needs fresh players, and we definitely need a left back. So I think as things stand, Mourinho needs a miracle, and I do feel sorry for him because the transfer window is, again, like last season, not being delivered what he wanted. And even if we do get those players in, does he really want Bale? Is Bale really what we need? And Perisic last year wasn't delivered. Emily Whiten says, what is the main hold-up of Manchester United making a transfer? I think the main hold-up, Emily, is what it seems to always be, bartering for a good price. I think Sandro's there to be done, but Juventus want a decent price and we don't want to pay it. I think we probably are trying to get Bale, cap in hand, hoping he leaves Real Madrid because they don't want him anymore. I mean, I'm going to cover this on the transfer show tomorrow morning as well as the latest news, but I'm going to cover this tomorrow morning about where we're at with all our transfer targets, because a little research I've done so far, it's quite scary. It's quite scary, it really is. A starting 11 of Lukaku, Sanchez, Martial, Pogba, Fred, Martial, Shaw, Bay, Lindelof, De Gea can compete with City, says Christopher Morton. I agree with you, Christopher, but can that 11 compete with Mourinho playing the way he did last season? That's the problem. We all know we've got good players. We all know we've got a good bench. I mean, look, I'm going to come back fighting here, and next season I will fight against Liverpool fans, and I implore you to do it with me. I am not going to sit back and just accept Liverpool are better than United. When the season kicks off, it's totally backs to the wall. We take it on and we fight everybody because we're Manchester United. But when the season's not kicked off and we're looking at transfer business, you've got to applaud what Liverpool have done. But if you're telling me that Mane, Salah and Firmino are more threatening or infinitely better than Sanchez, Lukaku, Martial, Rashford, Lingard on their day, I'll call you a liar. If you're telling me that Pogba, Matic, Herrera, Fred are no better than Henderson, Keita, Fabinho and Fekir, again, have a day off. We've got a better squad than Liverpool, even with the signings they've made. The problem is we are not performing as a squad with those players, and they didn't perform last year, and that's the concern that we carry into next season, is that we're not performing. But we've got a great squad. We really have. Carlos says, you always say we don't pay, but we paid for Pogba. Very different story, as I said last night with Carlos. When Mourinho came in, we didn't have Champions League football. If you look over the last few years, when United haven't had Champions League football, they spend big. We had that big summer with Van Gaal when he didn't have it. When he inherited it from Moyes, he got a big summer. When Mourinho came in, he got a big summer as well, because Manchester United can't afford to be out of the Champions League for 2 years running. So they'll always, if we don't finish in the Champions League next year, we'll spend big. That's why they spent big in Mourinho's first summer, because we didn't have Champions League football and they had to get it the year after. Fact is, the people who control the club are happy, says Kabira. Callum, you can ask a question, yes. We can't win the league under Mourinho, says Lionel Vigas. And Rashford is English and overrated, says John Johnson. He's 20 years of age. I think he's a good player, personally. Alex says, then those that mean that Jose is a problem. And Fabinho is better than Matic. Never wanted Matic, says Active Dan. Active Dan. The videos are out there that I wanted Fabinho over Matic last summer because he's more mobile. I really hope I'm going to be wrong about Fabinho and I can say I got it wrong. Matic was the better signing. He could flop. He could flop in the Premier League. He could flop. Mourinho is a negative manager, says James Hart. Klopp is a positive manager. Football has changed. Mourinho hasn't, and he doesn't try to entertain the fans. I think he will do next season. He has to. He has to. Because if he doesn't entertain the fans next year and we don't win the league, he's gone. He's absolutely gone. Glazers only care when there's no Champions League. Kaka slide is right. And George Williams, Mourinho is the problem. I don't think Mourinho is the problem at the moment. I'll keep saying it though. Mourinho is not the problem at the moment. The lack of investment in the club is. I mean, you look at ambition levels. You look at Liverpool, Champions League final and third in the league. That's pretty good for them when you look at their recent history. They could then go and spend a load of money in the summer. That shows you ambitions. Manchester United, second in the league, go and spend next to nothing. That's your ambition from the club. Rashford has potential to be special, but not under Mourinho, says Abba. We need a new manager, says Abdul. And not with Jose in charge, says Michael Jones. And another manager would get the most out of these players, says Gent Tech. Look, I'm not going to argue with that. I think if we had a manager who played the right style of football at Manchester United, maybe a Pochettino or some other manager who likes to play expansive football, we'd see a different team and we'd see more expressive players. I mean, I don't think Southgate played expansive football, but I think Lingard and Rashford certainly enjoyed it better. You could see that. There was more freedom. we're just going to have to see about the style of football. But my immediate concern is 3.5 weeks, well, less than 3.5 weeks. It's 3 weeks on Friday, the start of the season. And we've not done anything for about 6 weeks, have we? I mean, even the Fred official thing, we knew about it 3 weeks before. So we've not done anything. Anyway, please do drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. And give us your comments below. It's going to be a very interesting transfer daily in the morning. Make sure you watch it, 7 AM. Got a few notes for that. And also, on a lighter note, here's a super chat from Jeff Doherty. He says, we need a director of football operations who is a football professional to set a direction for the club regardless of manager. I think that's a fantastic comment there from Jeff. We do need somebody, but Mourinho wants to control it apparently, but he's not getting what he needs. We did a video at lunchtime. If you haven't seen it, it's a review of the new Manchester United kit. We're giving away one of the new, the new home kit. If you want to enter that, watch the video if you missed it at lunchtime. It's only about 3 or 4 minutes long anyway. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you all in the morning unless something happens tonight transfer-wise. You've got more chance of seeing a pig fly past your window, but you never know. You never know. At some point, we've got to sign somebody, surely. I'll see you in the morning at 7 AM if I don't see you before. Thanks everyone for watching. And if you want to win the shirt or see my review on the new home shirt, go and look it on the homepage. I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching.